Hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about Daniel Bryan and what it would be like if he returned to the WWE. Now, as we all know, the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, who is currently in AEW, has been in AEW for quite a number of years. I think he's been there about maybe 3 or 4 years around there, and better known to WWE fans as Daniel Bryan. And this video is just gonna talk about what if what it would be like if Daniel Bryan returns to the WWE and how that would be and what matches would we like to see the most Daniel Bryan have and against who those matches would be. So, the first matchup that comes to mind is Daniel Bryan 101 with CM Punk, the American Dragon versus the best in the world. Now, these two have history. Um, Notably, in the independents, they wrestled each other way back when. And yeah, they're known for having their five-star classics. The first really high profile matchup they had in the WWE ring was at the Over the Limit 2012 pay-per-view when Punk defended the championship against Bryan in a five-star battle. And how fitting it would be one more time. Let's just say, for booking's sake, I'm just fast booking here. 2025 in the WWE, we got Daniel Bryan and CM Punk one more time. Man, oh man, that match would be a main event worthy contest that should either headline a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania pay-per-view. So if Bryan were to return to the WWE one last time, that's what I would like to see. Daniel Bryan one-on-one with CM Punk once again, one last time. Also, another matchup that comes to mind is the American Dragon versus the Ring General. That's right, Daniel Bryan taking on Gunther. Oh my gosh, this matchup here would be every wrestling fan's dream. These two, we see how Gunther works, and we all know how Bryan works. Bryan knows each and every wrestling move known to man. And Gunther is also like the name, it says it in his name, Ring General, right? So Gunther knows everything that a wrestler should know about anything. So there you go. You put those two. This match has the makings of a very classic, a very physical type matchup. Daniel Bryan versus Gunther. Also, another matchup that I would be interested in seeing is Daniel Bryan taking on Andrade El Idolo. Um, I know they were in AEW at the same time a few years ago when Andrade was still there. I don't know if they ever had a match against one another. Even if they did, I can't remember because honestly speaking, I don't follow AEW um, on a weekly basis, so it's hard to say. But yeah, I think Andrade still, he can still go, and he's still a fiery competitor, and he can still go in there and mix it up with the best of them, and is capable of having a five-star match with someone like Daniel Bryan. So put that also on my list. Another matchup that sparks a lot of interest would be Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins, the American Dragon versus the Visionary or the Architect, whatever you want to call him. Now that matchup, Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins, we saw them have a few one-on-one matches throughout the years. Back then, notably when Seth Rollins was part of the Shield back in around like 2013, 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. And Daniel Bryan, I think, would come out on top in some of those matches. Seth Rollins would also come out on top in some of those matches. Their highest profile matchup out of all those years would be on an episode of Raw in 2015, Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins, when Seth Rollins had just joined the Authority. And we saw Daniel Bryan getting the win in a very good television matchup. This was like right before one of those pay-per-views back then in 2015. I think it was right before the Fastlane pay-per-view. And speaking of Fastlane 2015, another person that I would like to see Roman go in there and have one more go at it with is Roman Reigns. Now, ironically, Daniel Bryan's last match in the WWE was against Roman Reigns. It came on an episode of SmackDown in April of 2021. This was during the pandemic still, when WWE crowds still weren't back yet 100% in the arenas. And yeah, they did have this matchup. This was Daniel Bryan's last match in the WWE. And it was a really, really good and solid pay-per-view quality match. Roman Reigns gets the win with a spear and defeats Bryan, sending him out of the WWE. They also had another match, like I mentioned, at the 2015 Fastlane, where Roman defeats Bryan to go on to WrestleMania to face Brock Lesnar. That was also a good one as well. Also, another matchup that I would love to see happen, Daniel Bryan taking on Drew McIntyre. I don't think they ever touched one another at all in the WWE ring since they were both around at the same time, but I don't think they ever had the opportunity and the pleasure of going in there and working with one another. We can see Daniel Bryan attempt to take down Drew McIntyre in what would be a physical encounter. I know that there's a size difference, but still, those matches with the size difference normally turns out to be something even more of something special, if you know what I'm saying. Also, how about this? Daniel Bryan, the American Dragon, versus him. When I say him, I'm referring to Carmelo Hayes. That's right, Carmelo Hayes. We know the kind of a talent Carmelo Hayes is and what he can bring to the table. And we already know Daniel Bryan, what he's capable of. The man knows every wrestling move known to man, known to the human race, I should say. So Daniel Bryan and Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo's known for his high flying ability, his ability to turn things around in midair, to run all over the place, to give us thrilling high spots after high spots. I think Daniel Bryan and Carmelo Hayes would definitely be an all-time classic. Also, how about this one? Very underrated is this performer known as Santos Escobar, El Legado del Fantasma. Santos Escobar. I believe Santos Escobar could have a hell of a show-stealing encounter if he goes in there one-on-one with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. And I know there's more. I'm just trying to think of some more matches that we can get. Oh, how about this one? Daniel Bryan against Chad Gable. Oh my gosh, we never got Daniel Bryan versus Kurt Angle in the WWE, and I think this would be the substitute for that matchup, because we know Chad Gable is similar in many ways to Kurt Angle, but I won't want to look at it like this. We will get Daniel Bryan against Chad Gable one-on-one, and you know that match will definitely be a show stealer and a hell of a matchup along the likes of Benoit versus Guerrero, along the lines of Bryan versus Punk, along the lines of Brett versus Shawn. Daniel Bryan, Chad Gable versus Chad Gable. They have the ability to go in there and put on what could definitely be a match of the year. So, and that's it for now. I know there's more potential matches that I would love to see Daniel Bryan in. If he does return to WWE, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you can never say never in the WWE, right? So let's just hold out hope and see what happens. Like I say never, and anything's possible. So I wish it would happen. We would get Daniel Bryan back in the WWE one day. But for now, enjoy him in AEW while we can, because the man is a very, 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 very special, one of a kind competitor. And I do know when it's his time to go, to retire, to call it a career, he'll be gone. But seeing him back in WWE would definitely be every fan's dream come true.